up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here and for being subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and hit that button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like button. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this conversation. Listen, guys, the hits just keep on coming for Diddy, and not in a way that he's used to them coming in terms of the songs, the music, I'm not surprised. I mean, when the first thing came out and then all of the stuff that was going on with the law that was put in place in New York that gave the survivors, adult survivors of crimes of, you know what, a window of time to move forward and file for civil litigation against their predators, against their, assaulters, then I knew that more was going to be coming, because I really did not believe that Cassie was the only victim. And as much as people wanted to say that, oh, this was just a money grab for her, I felt that the reason the lawsuit came forward and became public was because initially 4 months, I'm not saying 4 4OU0, I mean 4OUR, but or 40, I mean, you know what I mean. I'm sorry, it's early, guys. The number 4, but I'm just saying 4 months, Cassie and her legal team were trying to do something where it would not have been made public, and he, in his arrogance and in his ego, said, nah, I'm not giving you all anything and that you want. I'm not saying that he wasn't going to give them anything, but they couldn't come to an agreement in private. So the lawsuit was filed, which once that happens, it's the Freedom of Information Act. It becomes public. And that's why he settled in 24 hours time. But I felt that her filing that lawsuit was what was going to give other people who were victims the, hopefully, bravery to move forward and share the truth of what happened to them with the courts. And this is what's happening. So now a 4th lawsuit has been filed against him. And it's a 14-page complaint, so it's not as thick as the one against Diddy, but they're saying that a lot of the things that were put in the complaint are even more egregious than what was in Cassie's complaint. I don't even know how you could top it, but the person was underage, alleging that she was underage at the time. She was in high school, a teenager, and he was in his 30s, okay? And so some of the things that were alleged is that she was inebriated because they were giving her drinks, possibly putting things in her drinks. And it wasn't just her, it was other people, including Harvey Pierre. Now, we know he's been named in another lawsuit as well. And there's so many people. And listen, at this point in time, people seeing these things and listening to it, and if you have children that want to be in the entertainment industry, you really need to guide them probably in a different direction. And I'm not saying that everyone in the industry is like this, but unfortunately, this stuff is rampant in this industry. But I'm not even going to go into all of the details of the lawsuit in this conversation, but I just really find it, I find it comical. So I laughed at it, because when I saw that he had a statement because of this lawsuit that was filed, he says, "Enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth. Well, good luck with that, because most people believe these things, and I highly doubt that he has the nerve to let this go to trial and fight this in court. I don't think that a victim is looking forward to having to be in court and questioned by even their own counsel, let alone cross-examined by the defense, and having to sit there and answer questions about what happened, and also to be made to be look like you were asking for it. Because a lot of times in situations like that, they're asking questions in a way as like they're placing the blame on you. Well, why did you do this? Why did you go to this place? Why did you allow this? What were you looking for? Like, that type of stuff, And I just don't see him fighting this. This is just a PR attempt at this point in time, which I feel is just way too late. Because even though they made that little statement after the settlement was made, not immediately after the settlement was made with Cassie, but after the first statement saying that, he wishes Cassie and her family all the best, love and whatever. After that, he came out and a statement was made basically saying, please be advised that a settlement does not mean an admission of guilt. And I know that from being in the legal field that most times when people settle, it doesn't mean that you're admitting guilt. You're just choosing not to move forward and proceed in the court of law with dealing with the situation that is filed against them. Okay. And in a lot of situations when it comes to companies and organizations and things like that, it can be true where you have someone and it's just like, look, it's just less expensive to settle than to litigate. So let's just go ahead and do this. They have insurance policies in place and things like that. So they just do it and they settle and they move on, because it does cost more to litigate in the courts of law. So I do understand that. But most people do believe that he did every single thing that was accused of him of doing, and whoever else that he was with. Now, this person is anonymous. And when I say anonymous, she's anonymous to the public, but she's not anonymous to the person or persons that she's suing, because you can't technically do that. But because of the matters that he and other people are being accused of doing to her, that is something that the courts have given the victim, or the alleged victim, the right to do to protect them, because there's some crazy people out here, really crazy people out here that, well, just we've seen what him and people that he pays and that are connected to are capable of. So I can quite understand why this person is choosing to stay anonymous to the public when it comes to this situation, especially since they were a minor at the time the situation allegedly went down. But anyway, I just really wanted to talk about this because I just found it very funny that his rep comes out with this statement like now he's wanting to stand up and fight for his character and his legacy, and these sickening allegations are nothing that he would ever do, and it's exactly who he is. This whole situation with him, I mean, we're about to come to the end of this year. I feel that so many things have happened with so many people throughout this year. But when it comes to the news, I feel that this is like the most worst human being of the year. And I could think of a few other people that are just disgusting and deplorable that I could name as well, that are in the public eye, whether it's in politics or whatever. But these things, but think about it, as powerful as he is, who do you think that has even way more money and power than he does that's over him and that has things like this going on? I do believe that he is someone that is a benefactor, but also there are people that are benefiting from him as well. So we'll see how this goes in terms of his so-called character and his legacy. Because, I mean, if they could bring Bill Cosby down, whether the things about him were true or not, I don't even really want to sit and compare. But to me, this really makes Bill Cosby look like it just does. It's like it doesn't even compare, in my personal honest opinion. And Bill Cosby, he spent jail time, even at the age that he is, because of these things that, to be honest with you, actually started as civil matters. So do you think that Diddy, these things that started as civil matters, could creep up to become criminal matters at some point in time and see him on trial in his 60s for these things that he did through his 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s? I don't see why not. I think he deserves every criminal charge that they could drum up against him when it comes to these things. Because, I mean, let's think about it. I'm not saying that anyone deserves to be taken advantage of, whether it was a situation like alleged with Bill Cosby, where someone had, what was it? They said Bill Cosby was using Spanish fly and putting it in women's drinks, and then they had a drink and fell asleep, and then they woke up and found out that he had sex with them. The things that Diddy is alleged to have been doing, it makes what Cosby was accused of doing look honestly like nothing. And again, I'm not saying that what he did was okay, but Bill Cosby went to prison for what he did. And Diddy was low-key torturing people and forcing them into, in my personal opinion, slavery of a sexual nature, imprisonment of a sexual nature, trafficking of a sexual nature. I feel that he deserves prison too. So we'll see if it gets to that, guys. But you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for being here, for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye. Found myself inside all this tension.